adage of man up or be strong. But strength is casual dismissal of men's mental health is a prevalent issue in today's society. It's a silent epidemic, often masked by the age-old adage of man up or be strong. But strength isn't about suffering in silence. It's about acknowledging feelings, seeking help, and breaking free from the chains of stigma. Bravado and resilience are often conflated, yet they are not the same. Admitting to struggles doesn't make one weak, it makes one human. It's time we recognize that mental health doesn't discriminate on the basis of gender. From anxiety to depression, PTSD to bipolar disorder, men grapple with a myriad of mental health issues. The first step towards change is awareness. So let's shine a spotlight on men's mental health because it matters just as much. Remember, it's okay not to be okay. Reach out, seek help, and let's foster a world where mental health is a conversation, not a taboo.
In partnership with Local Motion and NYCC present Secrets to Success. Legacy Foundation and A Few Good Men, in partnership with Local Motion and NYCC, present Secrets to Success, the Men's Mental Health and Wealth Creation podcast. Yes, Wellbeing Wednesdays are back by popular demand from 7:30 to 9:30 GMT, starting on the 21st of February and every Wednesday after that till the end of March. As always, we'll be keeping it real, confronting the tough topics for a better tomorrow. Suicide, unemployment, homelessness, fatherless families, abortion, writing wills, serious youth crime and violence, divorce, breakups, breakdowns, trauma, grief, healthy relationships, parenting, education, healthcare, self-care, wealth care. Join us for Wellbeing Wednesdays. Offload, get interactive, and enjoy giveaways. Listen to the Men's Mental Health and Wealth Creation podcast. We need the best of us, inspiring the rest of us. Sisters, we need to be part of this too. Big shout out to Local Motion, supporting mental health and well-being services for people living in Enfield.
Good evening, family, and welcome to the 5th episode of the Secrets to Success Men's Mental Health and Wealth Creation podcast. Got my tongue twisted there. This is the 5th episode, and time is flying. It was just the other day we started the second series. It's our second series, and we've got one more episode left. But this episode is going to be dynamic. It's going to be impactful, spiritual, enriching, and it's going to be something to really remember for those that are watching. So thank you for joining us. We're talking about men's mental health and well-being. It's been a journey. We've been covering so many different topics, everything men's, from relationships to legacy estate planning to unemployment, to bereavement, bipolar, schizophrenia. We've been talking about parenting, all kind of subjects to do with men. So, it's a safe space. Men suffer in silence. It's been an attack on men's identity, their position in the family, society, in the community. And so a lot of us are lost in where we are and where we're going. So it's down to us, a few good men, to have these conversations so we can help each other. We have to be our brother's keeper. Mm-hmm. And so we thank you for joining us so we can help heal ourselves and others. My name is Marlon Morris. I'm one of your hosts, and I'm going to hand over to my learned friends. They can introduce themselves.
I want to say good evening going out to everybody locked in. First and foremost, all of you watching on the YouTube channel, it would be highly appreciated if you can like and subscribe to the channel so you know everything that's going on at the appropriate time. If you can do that for us, we appreciate it. My name is Marky Mark. one of the regular hosts on the show. And it's good to be introducing episode 5 of season 2. And we're just going great guns. Just a little recap on last week. We had a very lovely young lady by the name of Kira, who was our guest last week in the studio. Last week, we was touching on the subject of care and the impact that it has, caring for loved ones and what it can do, the care that brings family together, the care that can divide family, and everything to do with it, the mental impact it can have on you. And for those of you that didn't watch it, you can watch it back on the channel, any of the shows that we've done previously. And trust me, they're all worth watching. I'll pass you over.
Thank you, Mark. My name's Scott. I am one of the hosts here. I've been with the team since season 1. And my role here is to kind of bring some therapeutic stance into the conversation and to kind of give it some direction and help people have their thoughts and their feelings and kind of summarize and express it. So I'm here today and I'm going to be asking some of our guests, and we've got 2 esteemed young men with us today who's going to be telling us a little bit about their stories around their journey, their transitions, and what they've accomplished. And again, Marlo, he's got funders that have sponsored. So we're in Haringey?
No, Enfield. It's Locomotion.
Locomotion is one
big
of
shout to Locomotion.
The sponsors. And as Mark was saying, if you could share the link so that we get more people viewing, because it's a lot of information that we try and give out. We share a little bit of ourselves, and we really kind of are transparent in our own kind of journey and what we've gone through to become in the position that we are in today in our lives. So Marlo, I don't know if you want to introduce our team.
Yeah, so thank you, Scotty. As Scotty mentioned, we want to big up and a big shout out to Locomotion, one of our endorsers and our sponsors. These are a group of funders that are interested in system change and how we can have different approaches and have different experiences when it comes to community service and community engagement. We know that the system is broken on every level, from education, the prison system, the mental health system, the healthcare system, political system, and sometimes people that that look like us, Black men, don't get the benefits of it, don't sometimes engage in it, and sometimes don't even understand it. So this platform seeks to promote information, good information, new information, prevent mental ill health, and to protect our mental health and well-being. And so by having conversations with lived experience experts like our guests, we can learn something. Yeah. And so I don't want to keep rambling too much. All right, before we introduce, Scotty introduces our guests, I just want to set the context in how these guests came to be on the sofa. In another life, I wore many hats. From 92, I started to work in all aspects of social and community care. So I started a day center with autistic children, and I went from there to residential social work, working in children's homes. Then I worked in youth work. Then I started to work in schools as a mentor. Then worked in youth offending teams as a youth offending officer. Worked as a mental health officer in some of the health and well-being centers. And I did that for 12 years. And on my journey, I met some of these young men. They were 16, 17 at the time. And their lives were totally different. And they're going to share what their life looked like and how they got the secrets to success. And so I'm excited. I'm honored, because you can help thousands of people and nobody come back and say thank you. But these young men not only said thank you with their words, but some of them have worked with me on programs to help other young people in schools. And they will talk more about that. So that's it.
Thank you.
If I rambled on, Scott.
Yeah. So we're just going to really kind of kick off, because I'm not going to give them, I'm going to ask them their names, and then I'm just got a couple of questions that I'm going to ask them individually, but I want to give them enough time. So please, I'm going to come to you. Your name is?
I'm Chris.
Chris, nice to meet you. Nice
Short for Christopher.
Short for Christopher.
That's right.
Okay. And I want to give you as much time. So one question, I've got 2 questions that I'm going to ask you individually. But
Yes,
Chris,
sir.
I just want to get a context in. How did you meet Marlo? In what context did you meet him?
Well, I think we just began the show. I think I was once again putting myself in the whole scene of where we met. It's also like I think in the prayer I said it. I think things don't happen by coincidence. You know, I'm glad that the guest that is also coming on is someone who I think was there at the scene of when I met Marlo, and it was at one of my lowest points in life, and a part of my life when that today I look back, I think God makes it a testimony. But if it was not God, I think it's one of the shameful time of my life. Why I call it shameful is because today I know better. Reckless is doesn't do it justice. I was a person who was lost in the hype, if I can context it in that way. Initially, I was raised in East London, Stratford, Newham, which is still up to today one of the poorest boroughs in London, and raised by a single mum. Dad left, I think I was about 2 or so. So she, with my younger brother, took us from France, where I was born, and we lived on an estate at the time we came to this country. In as much as, you know, a mum will do her best, there's only so much you can do in raising boys. It comes to a time where you want that male sort of figure, you know, to look up to, or to mentor you per se into a man. And that kind of influence was only seen by myself on the streets, or the roads, as we say it. The time I met Marlo, I was at the time moving away from a path I took, which was to be an MC, to be a rapper, you know, to be chasing that fame, because East London was really, you know, it was something that was trending at the time. Everybody was an MC in that time. I was an MC. That led me to be connected to the gang culture of London that time, even though I was exposed for it for so much. But the time I entered music, it kind of migrated into the gang culture, because now I was kind of meeting people here and there, and then people were taking me on until I joined one of the gangs. I think the time 2005, 2006 is probably the biggest gang in London that time. Well, I'll say East London at that time. And I was just having the time of my life, really. I felt like Superman those times. I believe my guest here will probably
he's going to elaborate.
confirm that. I felt I was unstoppable. I was with people who, you know, I believe up to today I can't say that much, but these people really pushed me to a place where I could do no wrong in my mind. You know, I was really invincible. And that led me to go to a party by myself in a place where I should not have been. This was enemy territory. The week before coming to that party, a rival gang was in our domain, and I was part of those who chased them out of the ends as they were not supposed to be there. And in my time, I mean, the time I was in that sort of life, you know, I was the get-to guy. I was the guy who would say, "Why is this guy here?" So I'm the guy who really ignites the fire for everybody to kind of jump on. You know, it's like, I'm on it. I'm. Let's go. Why are they doing here? We can't. Like, you know, let's do something now. And these guys, we chased off the area, happened to know that I was at the party.
Okay.
In that party, which is a funny thing, I was dancing with let's say my rival's girlfriend, which at that time I didn't know.
Okay.
And I think people got word to him that your girlfriend is dancing with Chris. And he's like, Chris, the same guy who run me out the ends with these man. Before I knew it, I think I was drunk half the time. So I think most people around could actually recollect exactly what happened. But within a short time, I just heard there's about 5 guys outside the house with guns waiting for you to come out. Now, I don't think I processed that whole scene properly because, like I said, I was drunk. I was enjoying this girl, and can I mention Ruben, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course. All right. So I was to Ruben, who's those guys? And he's like, oh yeah, it's them man. I was like, let me come out then. Let me see who's like, let me see who that is. And it's like, no, you got to stay in, must chill. And I'm actually not realizing I'm here by myself. None of my people know I'm there. And these guys are just waiting for me to come out to shoot me. This is what it is there. And to be honest, I'm quite surprised at that time they didn't actually violate and just get in the house and do whatever they had to do. I give it to God. Ruben now made a call to one of his elders. That's how he made it to me. I'm calling one of my elders. He's coming down. He said, nobody should move. Nobody should do anything. They should keep you in here. So don't move. He'll come and sort out the whole situation. So Ruben now, I think I came back. I don't know whether they locked off the music or anything like that, but it was a big mess. It was a big mess. Like half the party was outside, half was inside. It was a big mess. But then Ruben told me to come out. And like, so Marlo was like, whether it was by the door or whatnot, just grabbed me, fling me in the back of his car, like told them man to chill. Like nobody wanted any problems with him. They didn't want to touch me no more because he was here. I don't know, they saw, in that time, I didn't know who he was. But Ruben used to always tell me, yeah, he's got some older who's like, you know, like, he's a top man on his ends, and he's top boy. Yeah. So obviously, them man must have heard it because they didn't do me anything whilst I was somebody really wanted by that side. So once I was in the car now, you know, Marlo was not just giving, like, he wasn't coming at me like angry, but he was now like giving me advice, you know, like what are you doing there? You shouldn't be there. You guys have to think through, you know, like this kind of big brother, what a big brother would do, you know, to his little brother that is just caught, you know, fooling around. And I was like, who is this? Like Ruben, like, you know, like, but I felt that kind of love, you know, that I would have expected probably, I don't know, from my big brother at that time. To be fair, that wasn't the end of my my adventurous journey.
Okay.
But I believe that was a sign at that time that kind of made me understand that, you know what, anything can happen at any time.
Okay.
And even though I was still involved in a lot of things, I always remembered that time because I could have lost it that day.
Yeah.
Now, I ended up in another beef with the same kind of people. They came and got me. They found me. I was on my way to Hackney, coming off the ends. They found me on the streets, came out with metal crowbars and blah, 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 bust my head open, beat me to a pulp. I believe if they beat me for a few more minutes, I would have been gone. That's the day that I realized if I was going 100%, I'm going to go 150.
Okay.
That same day, I made plans to ride out. Everybody told me, chill. Your hand's broken, bleeding out. I'm like, you man, this is violation. This is, they've broke my hand. So that means what? I'm going to hospital. I can't allow hospital to be on this guy's CV. You've sent Chris to hospital. Nah, something needs to be done. So all the elders, everybody was like, no, you know what, you guys, tell him to chill. Like, no, it's not happening like this, man. And I had a couple guys who were backing it. You know, there's always somebody who's gonna back your madness. So I was just like, come on, do me something. So I'm one of them. It goes into the story of my testimony, how I kind of changed. So I don't know if you want me to go into that now.
I'm gonna pause you for a minute, because the question that I asked was how you met Marlo and what you kind of explored. You told us a little bit of your upbringing and where you grew up and how you was looking for that positive male kind of influence, and you're about the life now, because at that time in East London, everyone's a rapper.
That's it.
And that means that you're involved in certain things. And you got yourself into a sticky situation, because in your mind, man can do anything. I'm rolling out to a rave by myself. I don't even care if it's anything.
That's how far it was.
But you got into a real sticky situation. And then Ruben, this man, kind of said, there's someone that's gonna come and basically sort you out, help you. And then this man that you didn't know bungled you into the back of the car, but there was this kind of brotherly love that you felt where I felt something like this man was connected to me, like it was like a big brother.
No, I can't lie. It's I have to say it as it is. I felt like an angel came. You know, it was that. I think I've not said it to you in that way, but that's the truth. Because who would have saved me in that moment?
Because it could have got it could have went. I mean, it could have went wrong.
They came with what they had. And there was reason to use what they had. And you won't get somebody lacking like that. I mean, do you get what I'm saying? In that, it's hard to find somebody lacking that. He's away from his ends. We've got a squad here. We've got something to use. He's got nowhere to go. He's in the house. So that, do you get what I'm saying? If the roles were reversed, I always think about that. I'm thinking, if my people were in that kind of situation, that wouldn't have gone like that.
You would have put the work in.
This is what I'm saying. But I also know that these guys that were there were not jokers either. So how the situation unfolded to me up to today is a mystery.
And that's one of those questions that you're probably asked. But the way how you describe this meeting with Marlo is like it's almost an angel came and bungled me into their car, and that's how I initially
until I had that encounter with God, and my life kind of went to now acknowledge that there is a God out there who is in charge of things. To me, it was just mind-blowing. But today, there is sense to it.
But at the time, you couldn't. So at that time, that was the first question I had about your meeting. So it wasn't really. So you're kind of giving us a narrative that I was doing some dark stuff, and I was doing, what did he say in the beginning? Some stuff that I'm quite ashamed of now. I'm feeling.
It's the lowest point of my life. Like I said, it's the lowest point of my life. Why I say that is, I know we find ourselves in environments, and we are the products of these environments. But the truth is, somehow, we do have choices to make. Today, I can say that. But whilst I was within that system, I didn't see like I had a choice. I didn't see like I had an alternative. It just felt like this is the way things need to be.
It just felt like this is my path. This is my destiny. This is what has been designed for me to do.
This is it.
And you couldn't see. So
I couldn't see beyond that.
You're talking about this period where, because you kind of talked, I was involved, and I was one of the ones. If work needed to be put in, I'd be up front. I'd be ready to go to town. I'd be ready to put in work. So how did your meeting with Milo influence you? How did that? Was it something that happened immediately, or was it something that happened?
No, to be, like I said, because I was so lost in that hype. I don't think it was something I was planning to kind of consider or think about. But the truth is, he didn't have to do what he did. Those were the things that were coming in my mind. Why did he come down from
Wherever.
North London somewhere, because I know that's what Ruben said. He came from somewhere, all the way to where I was to come and take me out of this sticky situation, which could have probably been sticky for him too. But that risk is what I was thinking to. I was also asking Ruben, like this guy, like, you know.
So it was like something. Now that you're older, you're wiser, you have more knowledge. And we're going to talk after the break about what you're doing now in terms of that transition. But I want to stay with that.
Yeah.
That period where you said, I'm in this place, I've had this fight, the man then's got crowbar, they mash me up.
Yeah.
And like your ego's involved.
Yeah.
You want to go back out there. The man saying to you, they were louder thing and really. What was that like for you?
The ego?
At that time, hands mash up. Chris can't be going hospital because man them on ends can't know man mash up Chris and Chris going hospital.
I think, to be fair, I see as when you're on that, living that road life, it's like ego is the currency. It's something you don't want to lose. You don't want to, that respect, that self-esteem, that pride you have cannot be touched. It should not be touched.
Okay.
And when it is touched, it triggers things that should not be, because you don't want to be seen as soft or vulnerable or touchable. You know, these are things that at that time, I felt like if I don't get back, no one here is going to respect me. Not that side, not my side, not anyone.
Yeah.
So something needs to be done. And I believe this is why you're seeing up to today so much chaos on these roads. It's just because there's so much ego. There's so much, pride that needs to be honored.
Yeah.
Which it's not a pride that lifts you to a place of comfort or change, but rather destruction. You know, and that's where I was. I find myself, sleepless at times, just thinking of how can I get back? How can I get them back? What can I do?
So it's almost like there's a word that we use in therapeutic sense, it's shame. Shame is one of the biggest drivers of people's actions, because they feel shame and they can't express what they're feeling.
Yeah.
So then the ego comes involved. And when the ego is involved, there's no real room for logical thinking. It's all about that false identity. Because what I'm hearing you saying, even though it's a very short time that we're kind of having this discussion, I wanted respect, Scotty. I didn't know what respect meant to be a man because I wasn't shown it. And I got into this lifestyle where I just developed this false aspect of what respect meant. And when I was at my lowest point, hands mash up, I just felt shamed and I just felt my respect is on the line. And I got to do something. I got to go out and make something happen.
Yeah.
And, I want to stay with you, but I'm thinking about how, because when he was talking, I could see you smiling at this young man here. So I'm gonna come to you. Yeah. I'm going to dance a little bit with both of you, if you don't mind. Is that cool?
Yeah,
so give me an introduction. Tell me your name.
So my name's Samuel Speaks, aka Samuel Speaks. 35 years old. So the funny thing is, my story is so funny. So I wasn't actually a bad kid. I just knew a lot of bad people.
Okay.
So but I was very smart when I was younger. So I was very cunning. Like I would piece things together and they would play out in front of my eyes. And you would have no idea I was there.
Okay.
Because that's just how I preferred to do things. Because I didn't have the heart to be in a fight. I had 2 fights in school. I lost both of them. But here's the funny thing. I lost them both on purpose. Now the first fight I had, and it'll get me to my point of meeting Marlo. So the first fight I had was a guy who was much bigger than me, much stronger than me. And I knew that if I tried to fight, I would have got battered. So he punched me and I acted as if he hit me and touched me like hard. And the fight was done. I go home, I'm fine. Next day I come in, everyone's like, it doesn't matter. He's bigger than you, he's bolder than you. It doesn't matter. You at least tried. Do you know what I mean? So that was that fight. Then the second one was in the male changing room, getting ready to go football. This one guy from where I'm from, in South, in Deptford, this one guy is well known. And all his guys were in the changing room.
Right.
So again, I knew I
Mhm.
fight this guy. It's not one-on-one.
Yeah.
He's gonna get bust in the change room.
Mhm.
So when we're scrapping and whatnot, again, I just did the same thing. Act like I was hurt.
Mhm.
Fight got stopped. Man, I've stopped it, whatever. Done.
Mhm.
I come in next day. He had everyone in there anyway. So people are like, but he would have done this.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I was smart. But in being smart, sometimes I put myself in scenarios, and in knowing bad people, sometimes I put myself in scenarios because when I was 11, 12,
Mhm.
my mum and dad got divorced. So this is
Mhm.
how I kind of got closer to Marlo.
Okay.
So Marlo's actually family because obviously my brother's married to Lisa's sister.
Okay.
So so where Chris was talking about Jules Rubin saying, "Oh, I've got this uncle."
Mhm.
So the reason he doesn't even know this, but the reason I had in my mind,
Mhm.
I knew if anything went wrong,
Mhm.
now that my brother's married to Lisa,
Mhm.
I knew I could call Marlo.
Right. So
See what I mean?
you knew of him
Yeah,
before.
yeah. So it basically family. So I always knew that I could have this person that if I had any issues, I could call
In the camp.
in the as in
In the
Marlo.
back of your camp.
Yeah. So in my back pocket,
You got
if there was an enhanced scenario that I needed dealing with,
Mhm.
I knew I could come to Marlo.
Okay.
Now, here's the funny thing, and everything I'm about to say, Marlo has no idea.
Mhm. Mhm.
So when I'm younger, when I'm talking about being smart and not getting involved in a lot of stuff,
Mhm.
so because I knew Marlo and I had another uncle on my mum's side, I knew that no matter what I did, no one would touch me.
Mhm.
So I would talk on Marlo. I'd be like, no, but I got my uncle from North London. I would talk about my other uncle. I'll be
okay.
like, no one's seen these people.
Yeah.
But the conviction that I had within myself, it comes back to me being smart and probably why I'm speaking now. The conviction I delivered,
Yeah.
no one even attempted to try.
So you had these uncles, and you kind of made everyone know. I got Superman them in my camp, you know.
Do you know what it was like? Have you seen Power?
Yes.
So it's like Power, where Ghost has two sides. He's got the side where he's the loving family man, and then he's got the side where he's the gangster.
Mhm.
So I knew that I had the gangster side, but so I could be this one person that was two people.
Mhm.
So to all my friends and all these scenarios that might have occurred, everyone was like, no, but he's got this person and he's got that person that he keeps mentioning.
Mhm.
No one's ever seen them,
Mhm.
but I've told enough stories for them to know.
Mhm.
So how I got closer to Marlo was that when my mum and dad got divorced, obviously my dad was a pastor, so I grew up a pastor's child.
Mhm.
So my story, you'd look at it and be like, why was this kid bad? So between the school ages, I wasn't that bad. But when my mum and dad got divorced, that's when everything changed.
The trauma.
Yeah, so it was more like, it was less trauma, it was more anger. And the anger for me was, my dad was this perfect person because he was a pastor and whatnot. So how have they now been a divorce and the scenario and whatnot? I was like, how does this make sense? So if he can do that, then I can do what I want. That's how I saw it when I was younger. So then the anger kicked off. So I was off the rails a little bit.
When you say off the rails, because Chris explained what he's off the rails looked like. What was off the rails like?
So I would fight family members. I would argue family members. I'd go, like I said, I had bad friends. I would go to these places. I would chill out. The good thing for me was I had a brain. So even though I was in these places, like I was chilling on the block, I was chilling in the hood, I was running to run man out as well. I knew there was a place I was gonna stop. So if they were like, yeah, okay, cool, tonight we're gonna meet up again, I knew that was the end of the line for me. So I'd be like, yeah, I'm there, I'm gonna be there. No one saw me. Next day, where was Sam? Oh, don't worry, I got caught up in family. Because I had the church life, again, I was able to use that as excuses and stuff to get out a lot of stuff. So what happened was, I was taking a lot of aggression out on my mum. So I was verbally rude to my mum. I'd never swear at my mum, but I was just rude. I was just a rude child.
There was lots of anger that
100%.
was pent up, and your mum was the person that got
because I lived in my mum's house. So obviously, dad moved out, so I was in mum's house. So what happened was, in life, you just need a chance. That's what it is. You need someone to give you a chance. You need someone to believe in you. Then you need them to give you a chance. Because what happens is, you could believe in me. Everything I've told you today, you could leave it and believe in me. But if you don't give me a chance, that doesn't fill me and let you see the belief that you have in me. It doesn't actually let you see what I can do.
Sort of theory and not practice.
And also, even though you believe in me, you can tell me you believe in me. But when you show me you believe in me, now what it does is you've given me, I believe in you. Now I'm going to show you that I believe in you. Now for me, it's like, okay, this is the person that genuinely believes in me.
Okay.
And when someone's got your best interest at heart, especially when you're growing up, and this is what Marlo had done, they put you in places. So Marlon will have me speak in places, or he'll have me speak to young people. Like his program recently, he has me come in, he has me do those things. And people were like, oh, but this was when you was older. But what people don't get is there's sometimes the anger and stuff that you have when you're younger, you still carry that to when you're older.
Okay.
And it's until someone gives you the chance and shows you the belief that you say, okay, cool, actually, I don't need to be angry. There's other things that I could be doing with this anger and putting it into places where people are trusting me to do things that show them that I'm actually a good person.
Okay. So there's lots of themes there.
I know.
So Chris's
so
theme about fatherhood and that role model, and you had this kind of perfect kind of role model, and that kind of left your life, and there was something that was missing, because if he can do that, then I can do what I want. So then I started to become involved with different people. I was doing different things, but it sounded like you always had kind of a anchor, like the church thing was always something that was in you and your thinking. Because the way how you spoke about these two fights, like, brother, I jinned them. I made them think that they add me up, but they didn't, because I was able to kind of see things on a bigger picture. So that time that you was angry, and you said there was a lot of anger towards your mum. And you've got Milo, and you're having conversations. What was going on between you two? How did that feel? What was going on between?
So what Marlo is very good at is, it's like Uncle Philip. He don't have to talk to you for hours to get a point across. It's kind of like what Chris was saying in the car. I'm sure the journey was like 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
100%.
But his point got given to you. So conversation I have with Marlo, it will more be just like, but you know that you're good at these things. You know that you're great at these things. So what are you doing? What are you wasting time doing? So little things like that, you hear it and it's like, okay, cool. So you got someone that believes in you, someone that's putting you on, but they're also taking the time to have those conversations. Because the thing is, everyone wants to be a role model to the young people. But my question to everyone that wants to be a role model is, what's the time that you're giving? Do you get what I mean?
So there's some really like some gems. Like I'm sitting here now, and I'm almost buzzing now because the greatest gift that you can give to a next human being is time.
100%.
It's not money. It's not things.
Correct.
It's my time. If I give you my time, I'm not. So you're saying that's something that Marlo gave you was some time.
Yeah, and it's not having to make you think that, no, I know everything. So maybe to others, but to me, Marlo wasn't like, I know everything, or I can do everything, so you have to listen to me. It was more like, you don't have to listen to me, but I'm going to tell you this so that you can understand that, yo, this is where you're going to end up, or this is where you can end up if you don't do these little things that I'm telling you.
So he gave you options.
Yeah, and the thing with options is, if you're not careful, you could hear what the person's saying, and you could still go and do your own thing.
Yeah, you're not listening.
Literally, you can still go do your own thing. But just back on your point, because I don't want to forget what you were saying. You asked what sort of, with the Christian thing and stuff, what sort of kept me. The thing with being younger, what made me stop at that line was my gran.
So what, in the back of your mind, your gran was there?
It was disappointing my gran. So I'll never forget. So what happened was, one time I got kicked out of school for 2 weeks. And when I got kicked out of school, what happened was my mum and dad said, just go to your grans, stay at your grans.
Where was your gran? In a different part? Because you said you was in South London.
Yeah, no, she was in Camberwell.
Camberwell, okay.
So they said, you're going to stay at your nan's for the 2 weeks. Yeah. Everyone's shouting at me saying, you're getting kicked out, you're going down this path, you're doing all these bad things, everything like that. So everyone's saying, don't miss this point. I went to my grans. Yeah. Remember, everyone's saying to me, you need to stop doing these things. You're being stupid, all of these things. Went to my grans. My gran asked me one question. No one asked me. And that question was, did you do what they're saying, son? And I said, no, gran. I said, it was a friend that I was with. She said, but why did you take the fall for your friend? I said, sometimes that's what we do, gran. She said, but you got all these people thinking. I said, but gran, no one's asked me that question. Right. I said, you're the only person that's asked me the question. Everyone straight away, said, I've done it. This is what's going on. You're stupid. No one asked that question. From that day, I said, I will never disappoint this woman. So whenever, even though there might have been silly things I've done or the little dumb things I might have got involved in on the streets or whatever, there was a line, and that line had Granny's name, and it was like, if you cross this line, then you're disappointing your grind.
So you know what's, sorry, I'm smiling.
Yeah.
Because you know what's beautiful about that is that even though I was in this place, there was an anchor that I had around my connection to my grandmother, that this person here actually asked me who I am.
It was huge.
And there was almost like, when you knew that there was a line that was going to be crossed, it's almost like she was there saying, who are you?
That's literally, yeah.
Like, and then you knew that there was a line you couldn't cross. But when Chris was talking his story,
yeah,
I could see you guys smiling to each other.
Yeah.
Like, so how have you guys met? What was the context in how you guys have connected? Because I can see that there's something there.
Yeah.
What is it?
So it was music.
It's music. The music I spoke about.
So
you was a rapper?
So I was like a younger try. So we was all a part of this group called UE.
That's right. Yeah.
Called Uniting the Ends. Because I was from South. These were like one were from East. I think there was a couple man from North and a few man from West. So Jules Rubin had this thing of like having a group called Uniting the Ends.
Okay.
So instead of being like you had more fire crew and all of that, instead of it being like that where it's just predominantly from your ends, it was all the ends coming together and repping where they're from. Okay. But everyone's cool.
Right.
And there's no
like a one order.
Everything's harmony. Yeah, basically. So that's how me and Chris met. And just from that, there were so many different scenarios, because it's funny because while he's talking about those scenarios, I'm just seeing in my head that version of Chris, but I'm seeing this version now.
So you're seeing in your mind now, you're seeing Chris when he was in that dark place, what you call the shame.
Yeah.
And you see him now for what he is. And we're going to talk about where you guys are after the break. But what I wanted to just touch base on is you both had similar kind of themes around anger, around shame, around wanting to be something, and there was a lack of something in your life. And you know, through the music you've connected, through your individual kind of journeys, you've made that connection to Marlo. And there's so much that you guys have shared, even in your short space of time, around, you spoke about young people now and chaos, and you spoke about different ends. And like, part of the show we're thinking about is, what could some of these young people out there now be thinking, be feeling about the ego, about the ends, about shame, about pride? How did that affect your mental health at that time? So I want to think about you, Chris. When you was in, what was your mental health like? So you said you developed this invincibility where you just felt, what was really going on in your head? Now that you're older, what do you think your mind was at the time?
I think it's quite hard to put it to words, because I know just before the time, you know, God kind of intervened and that whole chapter was closed, I was already in a time of assessing, you know, where my life had reached. So my current position, I was very critical about it, because I would go on the ends and see people and see the man them, but at times I would actually just look at myself and be like, is this me? I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
So it's almost like you was outside of yourself, looking at yourself,
looking at myself.
Is this me? Is this what?
And these things, I think I would have to also put it to, you know, my mom was a very, very devout Christian and very dedicated. That's all she had, really, you know. And I felt in a way that I was disappointing her, you know, and as much as I wanted to ignore it, because, you know, it comes and knocks your head once in a while, because, you know, mom doesn't want to see a son like this. You know, she's praying at home, you know, she's always wondering where her son's at, you know, she's always asking me where I've been. I've probably not been home like 3-4 days, and case police knocking her door, you know, yeah, we've arrested your son for this, we've arrested your son for, you know, these kind of things. At times I would just be on my way to the ends and just be thinking on the journey, just on the way there, you know, is this really you?
So that, there's a lot around trying to make sense of who you were. And, you know, in both of your stories, you both kind of eloquently kind of express that even though we was in it, there was an anchor that kind of kept us in a place where we knew, for you, it was your mum, this the Black Christian. You knew, deep down, I knew I'm disappointing my mum. But I'm so entrenched in this thing where I'm trying.
To be honest, you know, I believe a lot of people, if they want to be a bit real to themselves, especially anyone that says, okay, I'm doing this road stuff, I'm doing this road thing. The truth is that you might be smiling around the man them. You know, everyone's gassed, let's take a spliff, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's having the fun of their life. But when you go home and you sit down by yourself,
it's not a nice place.
I don't think it's nice. I don't think people look at themselves like, I'm happy.
Okay.
And that's something that probably around the man them you don't say. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Probably what I was even thinking, others were thinking the same.
So it was almost like you knew inside I wasn't doing well. But around man them, the youth them, we're fronting, we're smiling, we're having this brave face, like, I'm about this. I'm gonna go out there, put in.
Because I don't think when you were 10, 12, you had ambitions to be a bad man. Do you get what I'm saying?
100%.
I never saw myself doing that, but I am now. This is where I've reached. So there was this kind of self, you know, reflection and assessment of, is this you really? You know, and I think these things came at the time when I realized that, you know what, I'm gonna cross the point of no return. Because that was the incident I was just narrating earlier on. That point of no return where you're ready to take a man's life now.
Yeah.
All right. I'm actually, I've chased man, I've done stuff, but I've not crossed that line. And this has happened. It's like I'm actually finally there, where I'm not feeling a type of way if I catch this guy and I accomplish this thing. And these are the things that kind of troubled me a little bit, because it's like, whoa, is this where you are today?
Okay.
I don't know if you get what
100%,
the point I'm making.
I think that Mark, Marlo, myself, we've all been in positions where it was the line. And we know if we cross that line, we're going into another level of darkness. Where you can't come back from that. You've gone to a place now where you've crossed the ultimate line. And I think a lot of people, a lot of young men get to that position because of ego, pride, anger, shame, cross the line. I want to stay with what we're thinking, but I want to just get a little snippet from Marlo and Mark. Mark, just listening to the two stories, what's some of the things that you're sensing, what you picking up?
Tell you what I've picked up from listening to these stories so far. I definitely agree with Samuel when he said he was a smart kid growing up. Yeah, how he got out of these fights. What I picked up from that is that he always had a ceiling. He had a ceiling there, and he was never going past this ceiling. So you'll go, as you said, you'll take it to a certain degree, and then after that, you'll use the excuse of family, church, and whatever to step away. Because even at that point, even when life is crazy, you still knew yourself and knew what you was prepared to do. When Scott is giving all the examples of why people cross the line, I think one that he didn't mention is peer pressure. Peer pressure will definitely let you cross the line if you can't stand up to the peers around you and say, this ain't me, bruv. You lot do this, I'll link you after, it's not me. And a lot of guys can't do that.
Correct.
And because they can't do that, they cross the line, and those are the ones that's barling in front of the judge, barling in jailhouse and all of that. Samuel understood that. What I take from you, Chris, is the fact that you questioned and you kept on questioning. The fact is, why is Marlo here? Why is he doing this for me? He's putting himself in jeopardy. He's talking to me. He knows me from Adams. So that's giving you a different context and to think, okay, you started getting spiritual with yourself and thinking, this is just not a coincidence.
Yeah.
This is by design. This older was meant to come and save me at this point and give me the opportunity to self-reflect and check myself and see where you could have ended up out of it.
Yeah.
And to the two of you, I say enough respect because I talk to youths all day, every day in the capacity of what I'm doing. I'm enough of them, and I'm telling them that you need to take that 5-minute spot to reflect. It's hard when you're in it and the fire's burning.
You don't see
but
it.
for those that can even take 2 seconds to think before they act, are the smart ones that usually come out of things all right. You know, we've all made the mistakes. And that's why it's important for elder guys like what we do, talking to you guys and you replicating that and talking to youngers again, you know, because you've got valid experiences and you are life experiences of, I did know when to stop. I said, I couldn't stop myself. I had to do it. No, you didn't. You understand? And it takes a brave man.
Yeah.
Let me tell you. So I'll take my hats off to the two of you to say, no. You understand? And I big the two of you up for that.
Frank. Marlon, I see you sitting there, my brother, just like reflecting and holding a silent kind of meds and maybe just looking back in yourself at those times. When you heard what the guys had to say, what was you thinking? What was your thoughts about?
Man.
That's the word, isn't it? It is mad.
You know what? Everybody needs a bigger brother, you know? I never had no bigger brother. I was the bigger brother. What do you do when you don't have backup and you are the backup? I lost my little brother, you know? When I hear this youth talk, we were the gorillas on the road. We were the monsters on the road. Yeah? Yeah, there's always better and bigger, but you know what separates you from the man on the road is your heart. It's not your size, it's what you're prepared to do. And them times there, we was prepared to do anything in the name of love. I loved Bishop Malcolm, and Bishop Malcolm had sons. That means that the love I got for Bishop Malcolm is the same love I got for his sons. That means that anything to do with his sons, they get the same love. And love has a way of, it can take you to places where you're prepared to do anything to protect the people you love. So, and when you love, you don't have no fear. You're not looking at what possibilities of getting hurt or getting shot because you're driven by that love, you understand? And the touching thing about what this young man has said, this young man was 17 at the time. He's now a pastor with his own children and his own congregation. It's humbling. It brings tears to my eyes because sometimes you get weary and you feel like what you're doing don't mean nothing. And you might not get no appreciation for it or no thanks for it. You might not get no recognition or awards for it, but your rewards come from God. I mean, and it comes up times where you least expect it. I didn't know what this man was going to say, but it's humbling to know, you know. God rest Mark Duggan's soul, yeah? When we came to that situation, Mark Duggan was there. Yeah? And it's funny how your name, people can hear about your name and respect, really recognize real. You understand? And your name can either escalate things or de-escalate things. You know what I'm trying to say to you? And that situation was de-escalated just based on the name and the reputation. Or something people will say, well, you know, that man is this and that man is that, to try and paint a bad picture about it. But sometimes you need the bad picture, the darkness, to get the light. And it sounds crazy, but it was that darkness at that time that saved his life.
That's what saved me. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to say
So
to you.
because of the darkness that was around you, when you've gone there,
Yeah.
you was able to almost.
No, I came in light because let me tell you what happened. They were interrupting. We was on our way somewhere else, and we had to do a detour.
Mm,
You understand? That detour caused me to be very angry.
mm,
So because now you're taking me away from what we got to do. You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
We dip on the road.
mm,
If you look some girls,
mm.
you know what I mean? No, you're taking us away from our mission. You see what I'm saying? To come deal with some foolishness. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right? So I've got in there now, take him out to make sure I get to him, but he did tour from
your thing.
But now, you see, you just don't know how you're being used. There's a greater force and a greater power out here that is, it's like we're just
That's the word.
pieces on a table
That's the word.
of a life, a chess game,
That's the word.
and we're being used for a greater purpose. I'm trying to say to you, I didn't know why I was being used at that time. You get what I'm trying to say to you? But look what it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to say to you.
Yeah.
I know. Before we go to the break, because we're gonna take a little break.
Sorry.
A little commercial break.
A little commercial.
And you know, and I know you're gonna go into part 2. The next hour is gonna be deeper because you know I know Samuel's just recently lost his hero, his dad, and he's had to manage the whole of you know that legacy succession planning and you know what I mean the estate and you know what that the implications of all that and how that now you're a man. Now you're a man. Then you was a boy, now you're a man. And what that means now as a man. I'm trying to say to you, we looked at little glimpse of you as boys. Now we want to see what life is like now as men. And so, you know, we'll take this little break if you don't mind, guys, and so we can kind of reflect and you know, join us on the second part of Secrets.
We're back in about 5-10 minutes.
No.
5?
Couple of minutes.
5 minutes. 5 minutes. We'll be back.
Yeah, thank you.
Casual dismissal of men's mental health is a prevalent issue in today's society. It's a silent epidemic, often masked by the age-old adage of man up or be strong. But strength isn't about suffering in silence. It's about acknowledging feelings, seeking help, and breaking free from the chains of stigma. Bravado and resilience are often conflated, yet they are not the same. Admitting to struggles doesn't make one weak, it makes one human. It's time we recognize that mental health doesn't discriminate on the basis of gender. From anxiety to depression, PTSD to bipolar disorder, men grapple with a myriad of mental health issues. The first step towards change is awareness. So let's shine a spotlight on men's mental health because it matters just as much. Remember, it's okay not to be okay. Reach out, seek help, and let's foster a world where mental health is a conversation, not a taboo.
Legacy Foundation and A Few Good Men, in partnership with Local Motion and NYCC, present Secrets to Success, the men's mental health and wealth creation podcast. Yes, Wellbeing Wednesdays are back by popular demand from 7:30 to 9:30 GMT, starting on the 21st of February and every Wednesday after that till the end of March. As always, we'll be keeping it real, confronting the tough topics for a better tomorrow. Suicide, unemployment, homelessness, fatherless families, abortion, writing wills, serious youth crime and violence, divorce, breakups, breakdowns, trauma, grief, healthy relationships, parenting, education, healthcare, self-care, wealth care. Join us for Wellbeing Wednesdays. Offload, get interactive, and enjoy giveaways. Listen to the Men's Mental Health and Wealth Creation podcast. We need the best of us, inspiring the rest of us. Sisters, we need to be part of this too. Big shout out to Local Motion, supporting mental health and well-being services for people living in Enfield.
casual dismissal of men's mental health is a prevalent issue in today's society. It's a silent epidemic, often masked by the age-old adage of man up or be strong. But strength isn't about suffering in silence. It's about acknowledging feelings, seeking help, and breaking free from the chains of stigma. Bravado and resilience are often conflated, yet they are not the same. Admitting to struggles doesn't make one weak, it makes one human. It's time we recognize that mental health doesn't discriminate on the basis of gender. From anxiety to depression, PTSD to bipolar disorder, men grapple with a myriad of mental health issues. The first step towards change is awareness. So let's shine a spotlight on men's mental health because it matters just as much. Remember, it's okay not to be okay. Reach out, seek help, and let's foster a world where mental health is a conversation, not a taboo.
Legacy Foundation and A Few Good Men, in partnership with Local Motion and NYCC, present Secrets to Success, the Men's Mental Health and Wealth Creation podcast. Yes, Wellbeing Wednesdays are back by popular demand from 7:30 to 9:30 GMT, starting on the 21st of February and every Wednesday after that till the end of March. As always, we'll be keeping it real, confronting the tough topics for a better tomorrow. Suicide, unemployment, homelessness, fatherless families, abortion, writing wills, serious youth crime and violence, divorce, breakups, breakdowns, trauma, grief, healthy relationships, parenting, education, healthcare, self-care, wealth care. Join us for Wellbeing Wednesdays. Offload, get interactive, and enjoy giveaways. Listen to the Men's Mental Health and Wealth Creation podcast. We need the best of us, inspiring the rest of us. Sisters, we need to be part of this too. Big shout out to Local Motion, supporting mental health and well-being services for people living in Enfield.
Welcome back. We are just back from our little break. Some real powerful emotions are being kind of felt in the room. It's really a positive vibe. It's really a kind of healing vibe. It's really a vibe of real openness and understanding, compassion and humility. So I want you to just kind of come back to where you are now, Chris. I just want you to, where are you now in life? Tell me about life now and what was it like to get to that point where I'm different?
I think there's not a day, especially when I attend conversations like this, you know, that I don't look back and ask myself, how did it happen? You know, I can't believe this. You know, as I said, I was reflecting at the time when I was, you know, running around like a headless chicken. I do the same now when I get triggered by little things, like something like this right now. I'm talking about, you know, the past, and I ask myself, is this me today? You know, like I'm here with esteemed gentlemen, you know, on a podcast here talking about transformation, whilst when I close my eyes and think back, I remember being on the front line, just blazing my life away, waiting for the next moment to be hype, you know? Now, how did that transition happen is what makes me a believer of God today. Now, when I say this, is not that I wasn't brought up, because I said it, by a Christian mother. But you see, it is one thing to hear of God and experience God. And it is the experience that caused that turnaround. I had heard of him, as the Bible quotes, but now I can say I've seen him. The time that I told you I got caught by these guys, and they opened my head up and caused me to turn on that switch that I never wanted to. I ended up obviously obtaining a firearm to go and do the deal myself. And lo and behold, the day that I was preparing to do something with it, I was arrested with it that day. Now, police, obviously they come on the ends and stuff like that, but how they came is just a mystery to me. How they came there did not make sense, but they were there on the ends. And as soon as they came, we all were running various directions. And guess who this police decides to focus their chase on? It has to be me. There's 20 guys, a bag of man, and they've run every direction. And I keep looking back, and these guys are just literally just following me. I'm thinking, what is going on? Like, don't you see my guy just turn the left here?
Yeah.
Like, what? They were close to him. They're still chasing me. So now we're doing a big race around the block. I've jumped the first wall. I'm thinking they ain't jumping that. I see the feds jumping it. I'm running. Now I'm with my best friend at the time. We're about to exit the back of the area, which leads to kind of like a motorway. So I'm thinking feds ain't chasing me on the motorway. They're never going on foot on motorway. I'm like 20 meters, which is not that far if you're sprinting, 20 meters away from that exit to get to that motorway where I know that's done. I'm safe. My legs just give in. My legs just give in. Like, there was no feeling from the waist down. And I fell front forward, like face front. Boom. It's like I was in panic because already I'm panicking because I'm fed chase. But right now, my body's just given up. I've had over 20 something fed chases and I've lived to tell the tale. What? My legs just gave in. By the time I got feeling back, I tried to get up. Right here, knee. Fed's knee, pam, slammed me. Took the bag off me. What's in the bag? I don't know, officer. What's in the bag? I don't know, officer. Opens the bag. Radio's in. At that precise moment, I was like, all right, it's going to be a long night tonight. I've got about 4 feds now all around me. I'm pinned down on the floor. I'm seeing everybody coming out their houses, their windows, looking at what's the commotion for. My best friend who I was with that time, he didn't even look back because obviously he's on the chase as well. So he hasn't even seen I've dropped. He's just gone and done the thing I was expecting to do. He's gone. And I've been put in the back of the van. He's radioed in, obviously it's a firearm procedure. Locked off the whole ends. About 20 cars. All I'm hearing is sirens. Everybody in there. Everybody's, who's in the van? Who got lost? They got signs. Who said, oh, it's Chris. I can just hear the noises. Yeah, they got Chris. Da, 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 da. I'm now in the van and I'm thinking, oh, mate. I'm looking at, was it clean? Did I touch it? How many bells are inside? I'm just calculating my sentence. That's all I'm doing. I'm just counting. I'm like, do I even know if it was clean? I didn't even ask if it was clean. I don't even ask if it's... I'm just literally just calculating what I'm expected to ride.
What do you mean by was it clean? I know, but what for the audience? What do you mean?
I mean, was it used before to do another crime? Because obviously in London...
Could have an M on it.
Yeah, it just gets passed around. So I don't know. First of all, the person I got it from, I don't know where he got it from. And I didn't even go into that because remember, I was in my madness, which I should have anyway. Normally, it's normal procedure to kind of find out stuff like that. But I just wanted something to do something to somebody. That's all. So it got to the time now, I'm in the van and I'm just thinking, well, this is what your mum was talking about. You see, this is what people have been telling you, Marlo included. This is what Ruben and them man were saying. See, now you're probably not going to see your younger siblings grow up anymore. Your mom ain't going to see you for, well, it's unlimited really, because like I said, if there's something on that, I could be done for things that I haven't done either. So, and even if there's one bell inside, it's like what? How many years did they give you? I think about 5 years or something.
5 years for the thing.
Yeah.
Each
A bullet, a year for each bullet.
There you go.
That was recent. That back then it might have been
Yeah.
worse. Yeah, it would have been worse. back then.
Like I said, I'm doing maths. This is I'm doing maths, and I'm hearing every advice I've heard. I'm hearing it again now at the back of the van, the back of the bully. I'm just thinking, mate, what's gonna happen next? So the journey was a long journey. I don't think it was that long, but it was long at the back of that van. As soon as it left the ends, I just knew that I'm not seeing daylight anytime soon. Got to the police station, strip search, normal procedure. Took away all my clothes, took away everything I had. When I got to the cell, that's when I was just remembering my mum talking about God so much. Everybody telling me, because even that time, before I left Samuel and Ruben and everybody, they used to try and take me to church sometimes, you know. I was just thinking, all right, I'm going down, because the truth is I've just been nicked with a strap on probation for armed robbery. I'm on probation. The last time the judge said, I don't want to see you here again, because you've been back and forth. And you're 18, you're turning 18 now. Well, I think I was 18. I was 18, yeah, I was 18, because it was like, time you're 18 now, you're getting sentenced like an adult.
Yeah.
So, told me not to come back there. Now I'm coming back there, carrying a firearm in a public place with intention. So, like I said, all these things is just facts that I'm just being bombarded with facts, because I know the procedure, I know what happens. I'm in that cell now. I'm like, I only have one thing left. I have one thing left. There ain't no solicitor getting me out of this. There ain't no QC, no nothing that these guys always talk about, these high guys that can just turn things up. I've been caught red-handed, mate. You know, I'm just like, there's no way out. But there's one thing that I can try that is left. It's to pray to God. And my prayer right there was, God, if you exist, like my mom says, like everybody's been saying, help me to bust this case. If really you exist and you're out there and it's not just fables, help me bust this case. And if that happens, I'll turn a new leaf. The roads won't see me no more. Whatever you want me to do, I'll lay my life at disposal for that. If really you can take me out of this mess, I'm done. I have to cut the story short, because otherwise I'll take too long. But skipping forward, the first hearing, they just told me straight away, obviously I plead, I'm not guilty, because it's not mine. I'm not doing that. It got to the point where they had to look for CCTV footage. Obviously the normal drill, send it to Charlton, blah, blah, blah. Forensics, check if whatnot, in my hands, all of that. So, like I said, I knew that somehow they will find something. Because even the forensics, I remember I was so eager to have the thing, that the time I got it, I touched it
Mm.
and just put it back in the bag without. Do you get what I'm saying? Like without even. I was like, mate, I'm getting done. There's no way out. You say it's not yours. There's CCTV footage there. Come on, mate. It's yours. It's not yours. How? Do you get what I'm saying? Went to court. Check the CCTV footage. All they can see is shadow. Pure shadow. They can't see me there. I was not there. They checked the fingerprints. There's no fingerprints on that. It's not yours. I can't charge you. Story holds up. It's true. I was like, whoa. God, you mean this? That's the day I gave my life to Christ. For real. Not saying I'm a Christian because I was born in a Christian home. No. I was now a Christian because God showed me the impossible. God showed me that it's not a fantasy. It's not just words in the book. That God that they speak of in that book, or you hear pastors talk about and you hear Christians talk about, God is out there watching every step. And when now you look back at the journey, you realize that every single thing was making sense. Every single thing was orchestrated. Every single thing that happened was there to show glory to himself. I might have thought I was living my life and making the choices I was making. Sorry. But the day that my thought aligned with his thought, things began to change. And so today, I'm a family man.
Okay. Children?
3 kids, 2 boys, 1 girl.
Wow.
Married. I did something recent, which I'm finishing in a few months. For the fact that I knew that, as Brother Samuel just said, you know, you can be, the roads and all these stuff can come and meddle with things. But the truth is, I was intelligent enough to finish my education. I just chose the wrong path. And what was cool at the time. Because the truth is, you should have done it. So I'm literally in the next couple of months finishing my computer science degree.
Okay.
Just for the fact that I was kicked out of college twice. It's not something I wanted to prove to anyone. And to anyone, this doesn't make sense. Yeah, everybody gets their degrees. But I wanted to do something for my younger self.
So, yeah, that's...
Just to tell that younger self that it was possible. And it is possible. And if I have this today, I can also tell a young person who is out there thinking, I can't. Oh, yes, you can. You can. There's something I've learned in this journey is that never be afraid to start from scratch. There's always a tomorrow, so long as you're breathing. If you have God by your side, you might have lost some years or some time, but God can fast forward you. God can push you back to the level where you ought to be once you make the right decision. But one thing I saw with God was that he does not force himself on you. He waits patiently until you two, like I said, align yourself with his thought.
Let me ask you a question, Chris. That was a very powerful testimony. And my question to you is, that point there is when you changed over.
Yeah.
But when you reflect back on that point, do you think it's how things panned out, in the sense that God, you got the thing, you're running. And as you said, you're running, and you've run from police a bag of times and got away.
Yeah.
And on this specific time,
Yeah.
without no reason, rhyme or reason, your legs went.
Yeah.
Yeah. For you to fall, to feel that lick in your neck back, to know you're in a van now, counting how much years you could
not to cut you, but I'll just land. The truth is, if I got away, I would have been on the strip the next day.
Right. So that's what I'm saying to you. So
100%.
when you look at that path of being in that van, and even though you're in the van, you're still looking at, I've touched this thing.
Yep.
There's CCTV cameras.
Yep.
So I'm still going.
Correct.
So when you see the next part of God's plan for you, which is when it comes to court, CCTV, there's nothing to see. When it comes to forensics, there's nothing there, putting it to you.
Yeah.
That then is like, to me, when I'm listening to that, because there's a lot of people that use God's name very freely and loosely.
Yeah.
Boy, God, Lord Jesus, get me out of this, son. We're there at church Sunday. Sunday come there nowhere near church. But I'm thinking of that design of how it all panned out.
Yeah.
So he showed you, he made you get caught, chop your legs away, so you get catch. So you got that time in the van to be like, rah, I'm counting years now where I'm going to. And for that to then dismiss in court for the fact of no forensics, no CCTV, he showed you both sides to cement.
This was broad daylight, summertime, you know?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
And this shadow. So these are the things.
That's what I'm thinking when you're talking. God is just
you can't.
It's
and that's why you come and prove to me today that the Bible somehow was manufactured or is. That does not change when I called his name. He came and performed his wonders. And the truth is that, you see, you said something very brilliant, which I do tell people sometimes, don't take my testimony to try and maybe, okay, just use that. Okay, God, if you did it, then. Now, I meant that from the depths of my soul.
The next part. That's why.
God searches the heart before he blesses.
Yes.
So God knows you too.
Within the madness, you could see that.
Oh, yeah. Come on. Everybody, he knows that you can even lie to yourself. And he will know that you're going back there tomorrow.
I feel like taking the offering, man. I was preaching today.
So it's honestly, like I said, up to now, I mean, I'm 36 now. I still look back and I'm like, this is madness to me. I know people still care. I remember Ruben, as soon as he heard, I'm no more on the strip, I'm no more, he came to my house. He had not seen me for like, I don't know how many years, but he had to come and verify. And I understand. Do you get what I'm saying? I do get it. Because where I was lost. And I was lost.
You know what? For those who don't believe, in God, how can you explain the changing of your demeanor, your aura, your persona, your character, your whole, you look different, you sound different. You're a 36-year-old young, professional, black, handsome man globally will be attractive to any room, anybody.
I appreciate that.
How do you explain that?
They should have seen me 20 years back, because I think you can describe me, man. I had it's God. It's God, because like I said, it's not, even clothing or what, you can change that, but the mentality, God did the whole washing. It was a whole my way of seeing things, perception. It's like I could now realize it was like a veil that was taken off. Yeah, the way I saw the world just changed in front of me. It's just, I couldn't get back. That's the truth. My mom was shocked. My mom was scared. She was scared. She was thinking, this boy, in the first 3 days,
I smoked too much weed.
She watched me with an eye, because she's like, my son's been home for 3 consecutive days. It went to a week. It went to a month. I didn't come out of my house for a good I believe 5 months. I didn't go anywhere. I didn't go out. I just stayed
Literally.
at home. Literally, I wasn't going to shop. I wasn't going anywhere until I finally said, "It's time to go to church." My mom was like, "What?" And that's the first thing I started going to. So I said, "Yeah, I'm going to follow you to church. I'm going to follow you." It's like, "What have you done?" You know what? Like she's waiting for the madness to come to the door.
He's definitely done.
Yeah, waiting for the police.
Already you came that armed police coming to the house, flipped up everything. So now it's like, what has happened that you're staying home? I was like, nothing, you know. I just don't want to. I don't feel like going back. But that time I was not even narrating to her that, okay, it's something like, it's like a deal that I've got with God that I'm, because I was still feeling a bit like, you know, somewhere about announcing all of that. I know. Then she saw me going to church. I started going to church. I was like, to the pastor at that time, I was like, give me anything. What can I do? Should I sweep the floor? Should I clean chairs? What do you want me to do? I believe he
became
was
a servant.
That's it.
So you became a servant now. Like,
Because I said to God, that's what I would do. If you did that, I didn't care what it was, what capacity. I just wanted to do something for God now.
That's a secret to success. Yeah, young man, find your work while you are young. Is it? What's the scripture say? How does it go, Samuel? How's it go? Well, you must, as a young man, you must find the things to work as you're young, because there's going to come a time when you're old, you can't work.
Correct.
Yeah, we got to encourage the young people to find a greater purpose than themselves, to serve and to be of service and to help others. And in this service, you find some kind of purpose, and you find with your purpose will give you a pathway.
Yeah.
A pathway, and it will help you to locate the right people. Yeah. And when you locate the right people, then you can start to turn your passion into some kind of profit. You know what I mean?
It's when you get your calling and you understand what your meaning of being here is, that becomes your purpose. That's what drives you. Like, I understand my meaning now.
Yes.
So you see, like, for your younger self, and there was so much that you said about going back to uni and doing your Masters of Science, or
Computer science.
Computer science. And you spoke about healing that wounded child. So, like, when you're talking, my therapy head is just buzzing because so much people need to do healing work of their younger self, where they have to forgive who they were when they was younger. So you said, I'm giving my young self this degree that I know he could have had. But that testimony that you shared, and where you are now, being a father of 3, having your wife, and you know, I got a purpose now in life. There is meaning to me being here. I'm not just here to breathe fresh air and kick the bucket. I'm here for a purpose. So that was the way you narrated. That was really kind of eloquent and kind of made all of us inside feel a little, this feels nice. This feels warm. This feels genuine. It feels real. Samuel, again, you guys were like there just nodding and so forth. And like, I want to hear from you now about, what was it with you? Like, where are you now? What are you doing now?
What was your turning point?
What's your story?
So it's funny. So I basically have always, so in school, so let's go back. So remember in school, I wasn't a bad kid. I just had a lot of bad friends. Yeah, so I was in scenarios and stuff, but I always go out. But in school, I was I weren't good at English, weren't good at maths, weren't good at science, weren't good at all those normal subjects that you need in life, in quotes. But there was 2 subjects I was the best at. And that was music and drama.
Okay.
And in my school, for music, I was a drummer. You couldn't call. There was no one, school play, there was no one you was calling. I tell anyone to come online, tell me I'm lying. There was no one you was calling to be a drummer other than myself. Because obviously I grew up in church, so I grew up with those churchy grooves, you know? So music, I was dominant. Performing arts, I was dominant as well. what happened was when I left school, I actually got 11 A to C's. I actually did really well, considering I actually did really well. So I left school and
11
I wanted to,
A to C's.
yeah, 11 A to
You
C's.
said that calmly, like
Yeah, do you know?
It's not ordinary.
Because I don't want to dwell on it because there's other stuff. I will come back to it. I
Yeah,
will come back to it.
Take your time, bro.
Yeah.
You got time.
But when I left school, I wanted to do performing arts.
Mm.
Now, here's the thing. So I have 2 younger sisters and I have an older brother. My older brother, our gap's 13 years.
Mm.
All right. And between me and my the closest sister to me is 2 years.
Mhm.
So I was the guinea pig for my parents for a lot of stuff when it came to the schooling system.
Mhm.
Because the difference between me and my brother was 13 years, which means that everything that he had done, it wasn't the same when it came to me.
Mhm.
So I wanted to do performing arts. That's what I wanted to do. So I really wanted to go to the Brit school. That's where I wanted to go. But to my parents, that didn't make sense. Because it's like, no, your brother went St. Thomas the Apostle. You're gonna go to your brother's school. You're gonna go to St. Thomas the Apostle. You're gonna go there, you're gonna get good grades, you're gonna carry on.
Parents never know it was a bad school at the time.
No, but it wasn't actually a bad school, but yeah, it was an all boys school. You know the
school
vibes.
well.
Yeah, you know the vibes.
You know it, Mark.
So
Okay.
yeah. So because of how my brother turned out,
Mm.
it was guaranteed that Samuel was gonna turn out that if he goes St. Thomas the Apostle. So I will never forget this. So I've spoken to them about what I'm good at.
Mm.
Yeah. And it's like, no, we're gonna get you into St. Thomas the Apostle. And St. Thomas the Apostle rejected me. Here's how God works. This is the funny thing. So St. Thomas the Apostle rejected me. And the worst school on the list, which is Deptford Green, where I went, accepted me.
Mm.
And my dad was fuming. So what he said was, he wrote, and I will never forget this, he wrote a whole letter talking about Darren, how great Darren did. My son's just the same. Sent the letter, they rejected me. So now it's too late. I can't go Brits because I couldn't get into St. Thomas the Apostle.
Time period.
They were so focused on that, there was no other option.
Mm.
So the last option was Deptford Green, where I actually went to school.
Mm.
And obviously Deptford Green being in Deptford, that's how I knew quite all the bad people that I knew,
Mm.
because where I went. So my parents...
So was Deptford Green a bad school?
Yeah, Deptford Green was a bad school. Yeah.
Do they call that? What do they call that, Mark? Ghetto.
Let me just
Ghetto,
paint
yeah,
a little
literally.
picture. Deptford Green School is right in the middle.
In the
of
ghetto.
Ghetto.
Banging the ghetto.
So-
Like, yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Getting
so
all the
obviously
bad
ghetto boys, all of that.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I
So
knew a
you
lot.
became a product of your environment.
So you would have thought that I should have become a full product of my environment, but I wasn't, because I still had that line.
Mm.
So yes, I was around a lot of them. Yes, I might have went certain places and been in certain moments, but at the line I left. So the next day when you hear, oh, this gun got let off or this person got stabbed or whatnot, I never heard that story live because I weren't there, because I had left at the line. So anyway, I'm in Deptford Green, and I'm gutted because I was great at performing arts.
Mm.
So what ends up happening anyway was I left church, because remember I was raised in church. My dad was a pastor. I was a pastor's child. I left church, and the reason I left church, mum and dad got divorced, and I was just rebelling. They never let me go to where I wanted to go.
Mm.
So cool, I'm gonna do life on my terms.
Mhm.
Yeah, you guys have had your chance. It's not worked, so I'm gonna do my thing now.
Mm.
Yeah, so I leave. I'm in Deptford Green. Pure foolishness. My weakness was women, innit?
Mm.
So I was just in pure foolishness with women. Obviously the roads, whatever. But I weren't a road man. I don't want to make it. I was a road man. I weren't a road man. But I was chilling. I was on the block. I was
chilling,
there.
yeah,
I
yeah.
was in Brockley, where I'm from. I was there. I was chilling. I was someone's younger. I was there when guns were being pulled out. I was there when someone said, "Yo, Sam, do me just deliver this parcel for me." I was there for all that. But I had the line.
Mm.
But here's what happened. I put one foot over the line one day. Yeah.
Mm.
And it was one of my friends said to me, "Sam, yo, I need you to hold something for me."
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it wasn't even a big bag, probably the size of my phone.
Mhm.
Yeah. Maybe even smaller.
Mhm.
So I need you to hold something for me. And I'm gonna collect it off you tomorrow. It's like, cool. He's like, yeah, whatever. When I come and collect it off you, I'm gonna sort you out. Yeah. So I've kept this bag. And all night, I'm like, yo, what's in this bag? I'm excited. I'm like, yo, what's in this bag? Like, he's trusted me. Because I'm thinking now, I must be someone because he's trusting me with this bag.
Things, yeah.
So I'm like, cool. So I'm all night, I'm like, yo, I need to sit in the bar bag. No, let me not touch it. Let me see, let me not touch it. Anyway, long story short, I end up taking the bag into my garden. It was late at night, probably like 11:30, which is stupid because if you think about it, I'm thinking I'm taking it in the garden. My mum's not going to notice. Obviously, what's he doing in the garden at 11 o'clock at night?
Sorry.
You know what I mean? It's stupid, but man's young, man. So I go in the garden, I open his bag, and I didn't know it was cocaine. Yeah? So I'm thinking, what's this stupid ball thing? So I picked it up, I got this thing in my hand. Thinking, this is dumb, man. What man's left me with salt or something. So I dashed it in the bag, closed the bag, and I've called him and I'm like, oh, what was this, a prank? And like, it's one of the oldest as well. So I didn't say it like that, but it's like, nah, man. Like, I thought I was your younger. I thought I was like, you trusted me. I went and looked in the thing and it looks like flour. He's like, I told you not to open the bag. He literally came that night. He came back that night, took the bag off me. Took the bag off me. Cool. So here's what happened now. I'm not in church. I don't go to church no more. I was praying if there was a problem, but and just like what Chris was saying, there's a saying, don't forget the prayers you prayed. Yeah. And there's times that I'll pray, I'm like, nah, you ain't got my back. You ain't got my back. You ain't. But I would get out of a scenario. I wouldn't remember that prayer. So anyway, so he's taking the bag, whatnot, cool. This is my mum's house. My mum doesn't even know this. I should probably see this now. But anyway, so he's taking the bag, cool. Next day, he's called me. I've gone to meet him. We're talking. He's like, bro, you can't even hang around Russ, man, no more. You get me? You can't do them things. Like, I gave you the bag, trusted you. I'm like, no, let me prove myself. Let me prove myself. I'm here. Like, man held. I just looked at it because to make up whatever.
Peer pressure.
I'm here. I'm like, come on, man. Let me prove myself. I'm like, no. It's done. Cool. So I've left. So remember, I'm not in church. With one of my brethren, my aunt was trying to get me to church, the Ark in East London. Every week. She's calling me, come church. We need a drummer. Yeah, come church. Like, nah, forget the church thing. So, but one day she's like, look, I'm going to be moderating. It will be good if I see you in the crowd because I'll feel calm, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, she persuaded me like that, won me over. So I went there with one of my boys, yeah? And on the journey, my boy is explaining to me, long story short, he explained to me what was in the bag and we was talking about what was in this bag, yeah? So I was like, I want that bag then. Yeah, I lost my mind. I'm like, I want that bag then. Because if he's giving it to me, like I'm not settled now because he's taking it and I feel not disrespected, but I feel like, no, I need to get that. Whatever that trust, whatever reason. I remember when I'm older now, it weren't trust. It was just, I was just a stupid youth that would have took it.
That's right.
You get it? So I'm like, I need to get that bag back. So that day, my friend that I've taken with me to church that I don't go to, remember, I'm going from South to East London for this church. Ox in Forest Gate, East London. So I've traveled from South London to East London just so that when my aunt, she's not even preaching, she's just moderating. I've gone there to make her calm. And in my mind, it was, when I leave there, I've got to talk to these guys. I need to get this bag back. I just need to get the bag back. And if they're selling it, whatever, I'll sell it. That's how I was. I was like, because I just wanted, it wasn't even the bag. It was, in my mind, it was, yo, you actually trusted me with this thing, not knowing back then. Anyway, so I go to church. I've made this plan with my friend. Yo, you're going to take me back there, like talk to them, let them know that, yo, I've been doing whatever, makeup, whatever. So this is what my friend said, cool, I'm going to take you back. And he was respected. So if he had said that, it may not have been straight away, yeah, cool, there you go. Right. But it might have been, yeah, let me think about it. Cool, that's what it was, yeah? So I've taken that friend with me to church. My friend's never been to church, ever, yeah? Gone to church, obviously, balcony. I've gone upstairs, I'm sitting at the back, yeah? My aunt texts me saying she can't see me, so I've now come to the front of the balcony, yeah? So I'm at the front of the balcony, and all I'm thinking about there, in church, whatever, all I'm thinking about, by the way, they haven't got a drummer. So that's why she was asking me to come, begging me to come. There's no drummer, it's just keyboard, yeah? All the time in church, I'm thinking, I need this bag. Like, I don't even care about that. I just want that respect back. Yeah, that trust back. So anyway, she's moderated, she's done whatever, and I've stayed for church. She's seen me, she's like, oh, come see me after church. I'm like, cool. I've stayed for church, heard the word, didn't hear the word, because the only word I'm hearing is, I need to get this bag back, yeah? Cool. So, crazy. I'm literally seeing it in my head. So I've said to my church is done. My aunt's downstairs praying with someone. Yeah. So I've come downstairs and I've got to the door. Yeah. I'm standing at the door. Where the arc is like there's the door, then there's like a section, then there's the main door. So I'm basically in the middle between the main church and the door. I'm in the middle of it.
Yeah.
She's at the front praying for someone. So I'm like, I said to my boy, let's just go. I can't, like, she's praying with someone. I'll catch up with her on the phone because she's seen me. Like, catch up with her on the phone. Cool. We turn around. This is no lie. The distance between the front and the door is probably the distance between these walls. Yeah.
Okay.
So she's at the front. I've turned around to go. I've just felt a hand on my shoulder. Yeah. And she's gone, oh, where are you going? She said, let me pray with you. She's no lie. She said, oh, where you going? She said, let me pray with you. So I said, oh, aunt, come on, like, she comes to the front. So I said, let's just do it here. She's like, no, come to the front. Church is finished. Don't block the doorway. Cool. So I've gone to the front. Long story short, she's prayed for me and I just started bawling, just crying. I'm on the floor, just crying out, literally just crying. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just crying. Yeah, she's praying with me. Other people have come over. They're praying with me. I'm crying. My friend's obviously still at the door. And I've got up and I'm like, I've got to go. My aunt said, no, you need to stay here because wherever you're going,
It's not good.
it's not going to end the way you want it to. That's what she said. Remember, she doesn't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
No one knows what I'm doing. Like I'm a good kid in everyone's eyes to a certain degree. So I knew at that moment what she was talking about. Straight away, it's this bag that I'm trying to get back. So I leave. I get she's prayed for me, whatever. I leave, and as we're leaving, she's like, you know what, son? I turned round and I was praying with someone. I turned around and saw you at that door. And she said, I felt that if you went through that door, that was it. We would have lost you to whatever you was going to do, whatever. She just said we would have lost you. Now, she weren't saying lost you in return of dying or going to jail or anything like that, because she don't know. She's just saying it in terms of lost you in terms of the church and whatever. But she don't know the deeper thing to it is it would have been, you could have lost me maybe to a crazy scenario.
That madness, yeah.
So that scenario was a turning point. I'm not going to say it was the turning point though.
The major one.
The major turning point was Bishop Wayne Malcolm that Marlon mentioned earlier. He saw me in 2014 trying to become a speaker, motivational speaker. I was doing videos on YouTube. I said, you know what? I'm going to just forget this bag and all this stupid stuff. I'm just going to talk to people about how I've got to where I've got. I went anywhere like that. But I went through stuff in life. So I said, I'm just going to talk about it. I'm going to press the button. I'm going to record. I'm going to go on YouTube and I'm going to post them. I'm not thinking anything of it. People comment on these videos. There weren't loads of people, like maybe 3 people today. Oh, 2 people. So I said, oh, this is good. And I'm like, I just wish I could speak somewhere so people could see that I could speak. Yeah. This I'll never, this is why Bishop can ask me to go anyway. Same as Marlon can ask me to go anywhere. I don't have to pay me. I will come there. So I get to I'm at church. So I'm now back in church, and I'm at Bishop's church. In Bishop's church, he's got this event in Jamaica. Yeah, and he said, you know what? He said, if you get to Jamaica, I want you to speak in Jamaica. Yeah. Now I'm thinking it's a joke thing. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm thinking it's a joke thing. I'm thinking banter or whatever, because it was like 6 months or 7 months from then. So I'm thinking, how the hell am I going to get to Jamaica? Like, I got to get a flight or whatever. Anyway, I ended up getting a job, saving, got the money, booked the flight. My aunt lives there, so I didn't have to pay for a place to stay.
Yeah.
So I stayed at my aunt's. All right. So it's a 3-day concert. This is not a joke. It's a 3-day concert seminar type setup. Yeah. So I get there the first day. Bishop doesn't ask me to speak. So I'm like, all right, cool. It's still 2 more days. It's cool. It's calm now. Trust Bishop, Cool. Second day. Bishop don't ask me to speak. Thinking, raw. Final day, so I'm thinking, raw, like Bishop made man fly out. And man's not even speaking. So I'm like, no, it can't be that though. It's the 3rd day. Bishop's wrapping up. So I'm sitting in my seat. I'm like, raw, like he must have just not felt that it was the moment. Like maybe, I don't know. Like I'm sitting there.
Things are going through,
Yeah, 2014. I'm sitting there like, I've done promotions. Putting it on Instagram. I'm like, yeah, international speaker soon come to that. I'm saying all these things. bro, man might not even get my moment. And it was nuts. Like, I don't know if anyone's ever had this moment where you just go to soak. You're like, cool, it is what it is. So you just go to soak. And at that moment where I was just about to just soak and just be like, is what it is. Bishop says, never forget, he says, and I got this young man in here that I want you to come up. I want him to come up and I want him to speak some things into you and just to confirm what I was saying and close us out. So I was like, yo. So I'll never forget, Ruben, Andrew were all there. Like, I planned everything. So before that moment, before going to Jamaica, I planned it. I'm like, as soon as he calls me, I got the camera. I bought a camera, £40, bought a camera. I said, I'm gonna have them record me. I'm gonna wear this. I'm gonna smell like this. I've planned it all. But obviously, all plans went out the window now because I'm scrambling because he's called me. Yeah. And I will never ever forget 2014 in Jamaica. What I love about Bishop, he basically, when you're young, you will just chat. So he basically said, I just want you to come up and speak for just a few minutes. Just a few minutes. So I've gone up there and I've just destroyed it. I've absolutely done my thing. No nerves, no notes, nothing. I'm talking to adults. And it's just coming. Yeah. I knew what I was talking about because I'd already planned it and stuff in my head. But I went up there and I spoke. Adults stood up and clapped for me.
Okay.
Yes, remember earlier when I was talking about people believing you, but people giving you the chance?
Yeah.
Bishop believed in me, he gave me the chance. I spoke. When I sat down, as soon as my bottom touched the seat, everything from then changed. That was the moment when I said, Bishop's well known worldwide. That is a massive risk. Internationally as well.
Took on you.
I could have said anything up there, but he gave me the chance.
So what do you do now? So in terms of, because I'm aware of our audience and the time.
Yeah,
so I wanted to give them
what
do you do now? So you talked about you have this, you do speak. You go out and you speak. So what do you do now? Tell me where you are now in life now.
So people call it motivational speaker, but I don't like the box because I feel like motivation only lasts for a little while. What I do is I give principles that inspire people to go and get what it is they want.
Okay.
But the principles I give them are not principles that I've read in a book. I live the principles that I'm talking about.
Where do they find you? So like, because one of the things that happens with this show is we call it the meat on the bones. We get to the meat on the bone and then it's 9:30. Then
I get it.
So like my therapy is on, I got to think about, okay, we got to close this in a way where we give the people who's tuned in as much information as possible. So how do, like, for me, how do I find you?
So what I'm going to do today, so what happened was I actually came off social media for 2 years because my success got to a certain level. But at that level, I said to myself, the story I have now, the story I had then, I've hit the ceiling. People need to hear the next level of success. What is next? Cool, it's fine that you've given us this principle, but now we need to see the next level. So I came off socials because I didn't want anything to influence my next level. So I came off, I'm back, but I'm not on it yet because I'm officially coming back with stuff this year.
What's your name? What's your name going to be when
it's
you
come
come
back?
back?
I Am Samuel Speaks.
I Am Samuel Speaks.
Yeah.
So remember that. I Am Samuel Speaks.
But here's the biggest thing. Now, I didn't come here intending to do what I'm about to say. Yeah. I have a piece that I recorded a while ago. Just for time's sake, it's basically it's a brand new motivational piece that I just recorded. It's what I previously recorded, but it's never been released.
Okay.
Marvin's nodding his head because he knows. I'm gonna send that to you guys today. No one's heard this.
Okay.
Other than the people that already know, no one's heard this. You can send this. This was meant to be a series. You can send this anywhere that you want.
So you're gonna send.
I'm gonna send
Marlo some information.
It's gonna be it's a 6-minute piece.
Yes.
You got to listen to it today, and then just send it out. Okay,
you're gonna do that. So I'm gonna pause you because I know we've got a little bit of time left. Yeah. And I wanted to just bring in
under 10 minutes.
Marlo. And Mark.
But before that, just before that, sorry, Samuel Speaks. This is what happens. I wanna thank man like Marlo on camera.
You can give him his flowers because people wait until they're not here.
Yeah, this is what people do that, but also what people do is because of ego, they don't give their thanks. So what I want to thank Marlo for is also putting me on platforms. But one of the biggest things is one thing I've seen in Marlo's life from I've been young till now is that regardless, Marlo is going to do what Marlo has to do for his people and to make sure everyone is good. That's what I've seen. I saw him take the kids, I think Paris. I run out of countries that he's taking them. But what that is someone that doesn't just believe in those young people or believe in us as young people, but it's someone that wants to give the opportunity for those young people, for him to, the belief that he has in them, for them to show it. So even coming on here today, it's more than just coming on a podcast. It's someone that has trusted myself and Chris to come on and say the words that we want to say because he believes in us.
So he's giving you, like, you know what I call it? I call it unconditional positive regard, unconditional love. Like
100%.
I'm not giving you this
For something.
for something.
No.
And I think the greatest reward, because Chris, you can probably testify to this, Mark, Marlo, myself. The reason why we're sitting in this room now and the reason why there's this synergy is because in one way or another, we believe fundamentally in that principle that the gift is to give.
Yeah,
When you are given something, it's not for you to hug it.
100%.
The reward is when you are given a purpose to gift it freely to others.
100%.
So Marlo's got a big heart. I've known Marlo, I don't even know how long. With me, but he's a good geezer, and
it has to be known because people won't talk about it, like you said, until people go.
yeah. But we
I
can
wanna
find you, Chris. It's Chris. Give me one more time so the audience can get it. Chris.
I am Samuel Speaks.
I am Samuel Speaks.
I am Samuel Speaks.
Okay.
Is on. Will be on everything. YouTube. You'll be able to find me.
Okay.
There's no content up.
I am Samuel Speaks.
I
We
am-
might put it on the thing.
Yeah, I am Samuel Speaks.
Marlo. No, I'm gonna come Mark.
Sorry,
yeah.
before that, what church can make people find you at?
To be honest, at this time, I think it's a similar thing to what Samuel was saying, which is I was doing a lot of work with a partner church before, mostly running their evangelism department and outreach for young people, which this is the season now, which I'm not having that green light yet. But I know a lot of people are waiting for me to kind of start my own sort of thing. But I'm not doing that based on people's
When the
request.
Father says it's your time
Thank
to
you.
press the button,
yeah.
He will give you the signs
That's it.
to press the button. So right now,
so for,
like yourself,
for now, you wouldn't find me until
Until the Lord says.
until you. I mean,
Finds you.
you
Yes.
you call
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
yeah,
that-
when the
that's-
time is
yeah.
ready for you, you will think of.
That's good.
Mark,
I think
thoughts, feelings.
what I want to say is when you're talking earlier on about Marlo giving them time and opportunity, what I call it is investment.
Facts.
When people hear the word investment, they think straight away of money.
Mm.
But there's many different rewards you get out of investing. Yeah, when you harvest and plant corn, that's your investment. Come time, you reap those rewards. And obviously for everything else. And remember, when Marlo's talking to you lot them times, this is not Marlo of today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Correct.
let's get that straight.
Mhm.
This isn't Marlo of today.
Mm.
So even in those dark times,
Yeah.
he's getting a message.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that
yeah.
message is to see something and recognize something in you two
Correct.
that made him invest.
Mm.
Because I'm still going over that point of
Mm.
you're in a party, there's man outside with gun
Mhm.
looking to done your dance,
Mm.
and this man just comes from nowhere,
Spools up. Yeah.
as you said, as an angel. And to me, as I said, nothing is by coincidence; it's by design.
By design.
So even at that time,
Yeah.
even what Marlo was doing, he couldn't 100% know exactly
Understand, yeah.
why
Yeah.
I'm doing this. Yes, I'm coming to savor you,
Mhm.
but as him say, yeah, interrupt me. Can't gal me
Yeah,
out tonight.
yeah.
You understand? But he didn't fully know. But there's things that we do and that happen in our lifetime that we don't recognize there and then.
Yes.
It's later on in life, the answers, the
Correct.
final piece of the jigsaw fits in.
Yeah.
You're like, okay,
Mhm.
that's why this and that happened.
Mm.
So that word investment,
Mhm.
very important,
Mm.
because we all do it. If we recognize something in somebody, we invest.
Yeah.
Whether that be time,
Mm.
monetary,
Yeah.
knowledge, whatever, we invest because
Mm.
we can see that there will be a positive outcome from that.
Correct.
And listening to you two guys' testimony today, I got to say, as youngsters still, you're old in your own time, but youngsters for we,
Correct.
yeah, is that it's powerful.
Mm.
And it sends
Appreciate that.
a strong message
Mm.
because people sometimes can't see things, so they have to identify.
Mm.
So some words that we might talk, some you might get younger heads that still can't get it.
Yeah.
They hear you two today. You understand? What you're talking earlier on about, you know, praying to the Lord, if I bust this case,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm saying there's enough people that pray.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really the most godly person and go to church, and my mum is to this day, she's church and has been.
Yeah.
Yep. And even when they have their anniversary and stuff, back in the day, yeah, I'd put my head in. Now it's forget it. But I tell you what, see what you said today was powerful to have thoughts in my head twirling like, you know what, see,
Praise
next time
God.
she asks. In fact, she's not even going to ask me. I'm going to surprise her and say, you know what,
Praise
we're
God.
not just dropping you on Sunday. I'll come sit down with you.
That's it.
May not sit down again for another month,
Mhm.
but I'm
You're
going to
gonna
come
do
and
that.
sit
That's
down
right.
with you. You
Praise
understand?
God. Praise God.
Yeah, the word is righteous.
Amen.
Thank you for that,
Love
Mark.
that.
Amen.
I'm just gonna, because I'm gonna give Milo the floor to close us out. But from my perspective, there was lots of therapeutic themes that I was picking out around single parent, self-esteem, ego, inner child work. But most importantly, what I picked out from the both of your kind of testimonies is your personal relationship with the Father. And I think that's what people have to acknowledge.
Yeah.
It's not about going to a place. It's about what's in your heart. And what you said really eloquently is that the Father knows your heart.
Yeah.
Mm.
You can't. So you see, you can't do wicked things and the Father don't know it. And so I think there's so much food, me personally, that I've taken from both of you today. I wanted to say personally, thank you so much for coming and
Oh,
just
praise
being
God.
brave and really courageous and just being honest with your testimony about your life and what's impacted you and how you've changed and where you are as men today, like as men. Like it's just powerful to have young men modeling that this is what masculinity looks like. So from myself to both of you, thank you for your narrative and your story. Marlo, whenever I call him Marlo, I'm gonna give you something.
Thank you, Scotty. We started late. We started a few minutes late, so we're gonna give it a few minutes, even though we're coming close to the end. It's
Enough time.
yeah, we got about 5 minutes. What's coming to my mind? My daddy always used to say, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. You know, big up Mr. Morris, Philip Morris. He used to say, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. The common theme that we have as men sitting on this platform is that we had praying mothers.
Yeah.
We all had praying mothers and praying. Some of us had fathers, but I used to see my mom every morning, 4:30, wake up, 5 o'clock, she's on the prayer line praying for people on Premier Radio. I'd come in from party and I'm hearing my mom pray. You know what I'm saying? And she's praying for everybody. She's praying for all of her siblings. She's praying for all of her children, her grandchildren. She's praying for her friend, them. She's praying. And even though, you know, they young people can't be what they don't see. It's about that, as you said, Scotty, that modeling. You understand? And you see these young men saw someone help them, and now they're helping others.
Yeah.
Now they are the ones that are the helpers. They are the next generation. They are the legacy. This show sponsored by Legacy Foundation also. And we look to shine a light on the best of us to inspire the rest of us. The story that's coming into my mind before, and I'll leave this with the audience, is the story of the Good Samaritan. If you don't know it, go and Google it. People from Samaria were seen as dogs. They were nothing good come out of Samaria. Yeah, so it's a paradox to have people that are seen as dogs being good. I'm saying, how can somebody that's bad be good? And that's what I mean by when I showed up, even though I had bad intentions, I did good. You know what I'm trying to say to you, right? The story of the Good Samaritan, I don't know if you know that story. Basically, in a nutshell, it was there was a certain man that was on a road and thieves came upon him to rob him, and they left him for dead after they beat him. Yeah. The story says that the priest came by and walked past him. Yeah, the priest who was supposed to be the man of God. The Levi came, walked on the other side of the road. Yeah, totally ignored him. The Levi was supposed to be a man of God. Yeah, the Good Samaritan came, who was supposed to be a dog. Yeah, who was supposed to be nothing good in him. Saw the man, picked the man up, put him on his donkey, on his horse, or his transportation. At the time, having a donkey was like having a Ferrari now. Yeah. And carried him to the hospital, the inn.
Yeah.
Paid for it. And waited for the man to get healed before he went on his way. Nobody don't know this man's name. Yeah. There's people that you have to know their name. You have to know where they work. You have to know their credential, their qualification. Yeah. Some people, I feel very cute when people are saying good things about me because I'm not used to it. I'm used to people saying bad things. You know, you can get used to people saying bad things about you, and you shape your life around that. You know what I'm saying? When people say good things, it's hard for me to receive it. So it's very humbling. Words coming from Samuel and words coming from Chris, because that it's an encouragement for men that even though people don't recognize you, don't appreciate you, don't thank you, there's gonna come a time where you're gonna get your reward and your flowers and your appreciation in life. Just keep on keeping on. That's what my dad used to say, keep on keeping on, you know what I mean? And so I thank you all for joining us today. It's been a very emotional one. I'm gonna have to go back and get some counseling from Scotty to put this emotion somewhere.
I've just served the Wednesday.
We'll put this in more, and we thank God we have experts like Scotty on the platform, that when we're triggering and we're talking emotional stuff, we've got someone that can reflect on it and put it in somewhere where we can take it and use it. I'm trying to say to you, because these kind of conversations, which we need, man suffer in silence. But when we can listen to understand rather than listen to respond, it's a powerful thing. I'm trying to say to you, and I bless God for these young men. These young men are the future. I'm trying to say, and I just feel like I can be in the back seat now and watch the man them drive and take it to where we need to go. Where are we going, nephews? Where we going from here?
There's more to learn.
It's like we passed on the baton now. So thank you, audience, for joining us for the 5th episode. We've got one more left, and it's been a journey. It's been therapeutic. It's been powerful, educational. And thank you, Scotty, Mark, for sacrifice. These men take their time and they put their money into because nothing's free. The studio, everything, big up Myriad Studios, Theo and the team, Jermaine and the team. Got Marvin in the back producing. You know I'm trying to say, and eventually we'll get better and better. We just tried. We don't know what we're really doing, but we are trying. Big things. So we thank you for joining us and taking your time. And I hope it's been helpful, in power and inspiring, and maybe, inspirational. Thank you for joining, and God bless you. See you next week.
Thank you.
God bless.